Hello everybody, Kane here today with another episode of our zoo series, and today we're taking a little break from the building just to kind of, well, do what I said we were going to do last episode and do a bit of a park tour. So, quick thing to mention before we get into this, I did not finish everything. I kind of got busy over the weekend and just didn't really have time to finish all the stuff I kind of wanted to, but I mean the zoo's still looking pretty good and I filled in a few of the problem areas. So, yeah, anyway, this is the front of the zoo, a place we've not been to in a very, very long time. In fact, I don't even know the last time I actually was on this side of the entrance. At least for a video. I've been over here a couple of times to, like, just look at it and be like, wow, I have to eventually figure out what I'm gonna do with this. Nah, I'm good. But yeah, anyway, this is the entrance to our zoo. We have a lovely zoo sign there, and we have, like, whoops, ticket booth with ticket stuff, you know, you got like some drawers and a water cooler. There's not really all that much interesting stuff to show there. But anyway, walking into the zoo, well, first off we have these which are staying here even though they don't look great, and that's because that's all the animals I'm using so far. So yeah, I kind of need those there so I don't have to go searching through the 4 pages of spawn eggs, basically, to find what is being put in the zoo. Anyhoozle, right over here, of course, we have our lovely map, just kind of showing us the extent of the park. It needs to be expanded out this way, I just haven't gotten around to that yet. Over here, we have our first enclosure we made, our capuchin monkey exhibit, which I'll be honest, there's a lot of good things with this build, but there's also a lot of it that just does not fit with the current zoo we've been working on, and I definitely would say if there's a build we will come back and do a second episode on, it's probably this one, as I'd kind of like to come back through here and make something that fits a bit more with the rest of the zoo than this does, because this, I think it's a cool one, I just don't think it fits with everything we've built since then. So yeah, anyway, I think we'll head this direction. Over here we have some utilities, we got restrooms, these 2 kiosks, which I never really put anything in. I hadn't really decided what I was gonna do with them. I guess they'll probably be some sort of like like a food place and a drink place, I guess, I don't know. And then we got little like zookeeper staff office type thing, not really like the most complicated, and I never fixed this, did I? If you're wondering what caused this, the world was launched without mods, and some of the things broke a little bit, which is absolutely lovely, isn't it? Anyway, continuing on along here, we have our Gazelle and Shoebill? I think they're called Shoebills, and Ostrich Exhibit. I think they're all 3 different mods. Are they? No. These 2 I think are Alex's mobs, and I think that one is Exotic Birds. I think. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since we built this exhibit. But yeah, we got this cool little covered viewing area into this build. I still really like this. I think this turned out really well. Got a couple of feeders, a nice shelter in the back. Some pretty cool looking animals. If we head over this way, obviously we have, well, the continuation of the exhibit, but I kind of covered up the fence because the fence isn't the most interesting to look at. And we have this over here, which is currently kind of meant to be a bit of a, like, how would you call it? Like an education area or whatever. You know, like they've got the animals up here, and you'd have like a zookeeper telling you about, I don't know, animal conservation or some of the animals in the zoo, or, you know, about the various parrots that took far too long to get up there. Oh yeah, and then we got this parrot who just kind of lives in the zoo right now, and I don't know how he spawned in, but he did. And yeah, he just kind of wanders around. You know, he's pretty chill. He just lives here. Anyway, continuing along. Man, this is a weird tour video. Secondary view into the Gazelle exhibit, and I actually kind of like this one a bit better. I think you get a slightly better view into the build from here, or at least you get a better view of the shoebills, which just kind of sit in that pond all day. Hello, Mr. Gazelle. And of course we have some more acacia trees and our lion exhibit. And I cannot for the life of me see a single lion in here. Where did they go? Wait a second. Wait, no, where are my lions? Did Did they despawn or something? I don't think they escaped. Well, that's odd. Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to quickly... lion. There we go. And there's no variation. So we got 1, 2, 3. Well, they're all male now, I guess. Because... There we go. We got 3 and 3. I will probably send 2 of those on a vacation at some point, but there we go. Lions in our lion enclosure. Good job. I don't know what happened to them. Some of the animals just randomly disappear, and I don't entirely understand how they do it, but they do. Over here we have our aardvarks, which just kind of sleep all the time and don't move. We can hear them. Oh, there's one. Keep on. There. Move out into the open a bit. We got one there. We got another one down here. In fact, I think there's... No, that is this... No, there's definitely... Yeah, that's 2. Is that 2? I think it is 2. That's kind of weird looking. That's actually really weird looking, but this is a cool little exhibit. We got these 2 big termite mounds, kind of a bit more desert themed. I like this one quite a bit. This is one we didn't even build on camera. I think I built this off camera just because it was like 5 minutes to get it built, and I was like, isn't really worth devoting a whole episode to building this, but it looks pretty cool. Anyway, over here, of course, we have our elephants. Looking fantastic down there. And they're absolutely enormous enclosure. We should probably hop in here real quick because they always seem to hide more along the back end of the enclosure, particularly over by where the lions are. And I don't know why. I've tried to push them more towards the center of the build, and they seem to refuse to go there, or stay there at least. They always like to go back here, and I don't know why. But anyway, they look really cool. They're from Alex's Mobs, if people are wondering. Very, very cute little elephants. Well, fairly enormous elephants, I'll be honest. But yeah, they've got a really cool little exhibit. Not the best viewing, I'll be honest. Partially due to the trees, and then partially just to the fact that this is a fairly deep exhibit. So it's kind of hard to see anything here very easily. But I guess that's what a lot of elephant enclosures are like, you know. The elephants kind of seem small in their enclosures until they come right up to the fence and you suddenly remember, oh yeah, these things are absolutely gigantic. Anyway, continuing on, we'll come back over here in a minute. We'll just go see the rest of our enclosures over here. I did throw some trees and stuff over in these areas since last time, so they look slightly better. Over here we have our rhinos, which we just recently added in. I think that was only like an episode or 2 ago, but they're looking really cool. We got our black rhinoceroses over here. Looking absolutely fancy. One sleeping on top of a bush. You know, as one does, And over here we have our white rhinos, which I think I have 2 of now because I ended up spawning a second one in for screenshot purposes, and they're just kind of chilling over here. I'm actually going to push them out a bit further into the enclosure so you can actually see them from the viewing area. But yeah, the rhinos look really cool. These are from Untamed Wilds, I believe, and they look fantastic. I really love these rhinos. Not quite as much as I like the Zawa rhinos, but these are a pretty close second. They're pretty fantastic. And of course, we're not going to take too much of an in-depth look at like all of the interiors of the enclosure, but once again, I do want to show off just the shelter for the rhinos because it is my favorite one I've ever built, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And I don't know, it's just a really cool build and got lots of space to it. I haven't done anything extra with it since the episode just because, again, not much time, but yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. And the rhinos, again, they just look really, they're just so cool. We have an outline here for an exhibit that may or may not exist at some point in the near future. Anyway, coming back along, we're gonna see this one first, but we have our hyenas. Now, these ones are actually the wrong hyenas. They're not the same ones we had in here originally, but I accidentally spawned in the wrong one and just didn't feel like getting rid of them because the hyenas have had a bit of a temperament issue. Oh, and it begins. Yep. Oh, no. So if we kind of continue on along here, yep, you see the problem now. So these are some of our other hyenas. I really do love this. I'll finish talking about the hyenas themselves in a second, but I really do love these enclosures. I think they turned out fantastically, and they've just got a really cool feel to them. Unfortunately, it is somewhat ruined by the fact these hyenas, for reasons I do not understand, maybe it's just the way the AI for them works, they constantly fight each other and destroy each other all the time, and it is really annoying because I constantly have to restock these enclosures. And I don't know why. I don't know how they can hit through a solid block. It's kind of blowing my mind, but yeah, they do that and they fight constantly. And yeah, they're kind of problematic animals, so I may just end up having to tear down like the wall here and just making this one hyena species, but we'll see what happens. If anyone has any suggestions what we can do there, let me know. Anyway, over here we have our flamingos, which just live in this cool little, this nice little pond over here right by, or between all of these bigger enclosures and our reptile house. Looking pretty good. Not really the most interesting of enclosures, but you know, every zoo's got a flamingo enclosure, so of course this one has one. Continuing along, over here we have our hippos. One of my favorite animals actually in the zoo right now, because, well, not only are their models really cool and they do a lot of cool stuff, I don't know, it's just a really fun enclosure. I really like it a lot. Not the greatest viewing from up here, but we'll get back to that in a second, because I kind of feel like we should take a look at the reptile house before we go into... Or nah, let's just go look at the crocodiles, and then we can go look down here real quick. I don't really have an exact order to how I do things with these tours in any series, because why? Why would I need an exact order? Because that's professional? Nah, professionalism in this channel, not my kind of thing. But anyway, that is a joke for the most part. Yeah, we have our crocodiles over here. I think this was like the second exhibit we made, but I'm pretty happy with it overall. I think it's managed to stay pretty consistent with the rest of the zoo. And I don't know, it's just got a really cool feel to it. Plus, these crocodiles from Alex's mobs are absolutely fantastic. They're really cool. But, of course, the viewing areas, at least the above ground ones for both this and the hippo exhibit, not the greatest, not the coolest either. And that's because they don't need to be, because we have this. Our really awesome, super atmospheric, underground, underwater viewing area. Which, you know, we got a cool look at the crocodiles and their kind of swampy area over here, and then of course another fantastic look into the hippo enclosure. Now, because of the shaders I'm using, they're kind of transparent right now, which is a bit weird, but you know what? Transparent hippos. It's just highly advanced camouflage, I guess. But yeah, I absolutely love this place. The atmosphere in here is amazing, and I kind of want to replicate this in another build, but we'll see. Anyway, continuing on, we're gonna head back over here to our reptile house and just take a quick tour through here before we head back up and around over there. So coming through here, we have animals that all despawned, and that would be our, well actually, if you guys remember, this was originally, I believe, a tarantula exhibit, but I decided to kind of remove them and put some poison dart frogs in here, although I think I'm gonna end up having to give them name tags if I want them to stay, which is kind of unfortunate, but you know what, we can deal with that. Over here we have a rattlesnake from Alex's mobs. We have a variety of other snakes from Untamed Wilds. The snake in here is apparently also missing. And then over here, you know, I just respawned several of these, so I don't know where they've gone, but yeah. Got a couple of cool snakes in here. No, I think that's a block. Okay, that's not a snake. I really love these ones. They're really pretty. I don't remember which one that is, actually. Let's, we can go check, actually. That is the blue coral snake. I love this thing. It's super pretty, super pretty. We have another snake over here, and some turtles. Look really cool, and some hyenas, literally like one block past that wall. Anyway, continuing on, of course, we have our Japanese giant salamanders over here. They're all kind of chilling on top of the water instead of in the water. Absolutely fantastic. We have our alligator snapping turtles. I think there's 3 in here, and that might be 1 too many. I think this really is only big enough for 2 of them, maybe even just 1, but they look really cool. Absolutely love the moss coloring they've got going on. In fact, I kind of wonder, I don't remember them being that mossy when I spawned them in, but maybe they were, who knows. And then over here we have our Chinese giant salamanders chilling in a similarly cool exhibit, except one of them is actually underwater. Fantastic. Over here we have a couple of soft-shelled turtles. I do not remember which one is which at this point. Oh, all these ones are gone, but these ones are here. Man, I feel like the reptile house is the weirdest place because unlike the hyenas where they've, you know, they'll just go kill each other, or the lion. I'm actually confused about the lions as well. I don't know what happened with them, but these turtles, I literally, like, all the animals that are gone in the reptile house, I restocked 5 minutes ago. I don't know where they've gone. I'm kind of confused. I guess I just need to start putting name tags on everything, but I haven't had problems with most of them. I don't know, we'll figure it out later, I guess. And anyway, the final exhibit in the reptile house is, of course, our lovely Komodo dragons, with this indoor area and a much cooler outdoor area, which doesn't look particularly great right now because you can see that giant grass block. But yeah, these guys are looking pretty cool. Anyway, we should probably head back outside to, also this area has not been had its interior decorated yet. I don't know, I haven't gotten around to that. Anyway, continuing along out here, we've got a couple of exhibits to show off real quick. Over here, of course, the outdoor section of the Komodo dragons, which, oh, there's actually one right by the glass. That's kind of cool. Usually they're not over here. They're like back in the corners, or they're back over here and you just can't see them, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, they look really awesome. Quite a fan of them. I think there is a third. Yeah, okay, I was right. Yeah, this is the one that always hangs back there. I'm kind of surprised that this one decided to come up right next to the viewing area, though. That's kind of cool. Continuing on, of course, we have our tigers right over here in their bamboo forest enclosure, and I can actually see them from over here, which is kind of cool. Usually they're really hard to spot, mostly down to the fact they tend to, yep, like that. They tend to just lay down in like one of these clumps of bushes, and you just never see them. Which, I mean, I guess that's pretty accurate to a real zoo. You know, you never actually see the the big cats if they don't want to be seen. They'll just go hide in some bush, and you're like, well, that was anticlimactic. Anyway, over here we have our other Asian big cat, and that is our snow leopards in this really cool mountain exhibit. It's probably one of my favorite builds we've done so far, and we got lots of cool viewing areas for this one. Yeah, like from down here and all the way up here, which is gonna lead to more exhibits in the future, but yeah, just a really cool area. Probably one of my favorite builds we've done out of them all. I think this is probably my favorite of the feline enclosures we've done, or the cat enclosures. I don't know why, but I think, well, probably because it's the last one I built, so it's taken all the lessons I learned from all the other ones I did and actually applied them and made them somewhat better. But yeah, anyway, that is our snow leopard exhibit. We got one more viewing area up there, which we'll go into in a second. But first off, down here we have our Ocelots in what was formerly part of our Jaguar enclosure, but because the Jaguars never went down here, I ended up just sealing it off and turning it into another enclosure, which, I don't know, I feel like that was a good use of the space. And yeah, it's kind of cool. It's got a cool atmosphere to it. And we'll just quickly zoom our way back over this direction to the lower viewing area for the Jaguars, which you can't actually see any of. So I'm not actually sure you're gonna be able to see any of them from the viewing area, just because they tend to do exactly what the tigers do, which is lay down in some bushes and you never see them again. But I really like this viewing area. I think it turned out pretty well, and it's probably one of the better covered viewing areas in the zoo currently. Yeah, I need to work more on those, I think. But anyway, coming up here, we of course have the upper viewing area for them, and there's our melanistic jaguar. And oh, and there's the normal one. I told you, they're kind of hard to spot. They just kind of lay down in the dense foliage and you just never see them, but yeah, they're both sleeping, which is very much a big cat thing to do. This one kind of looks dead, which is kind of sad, but you know what? I know it's not dead, which is good. I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of losing my mind, people. Anyway, here's the other viewing area for the snow leopards. This one doesn't have the greatest view. I think it's that one. And I'd almost say actually I'd just say this is the weakest of the viewing areas in terms of the actual view line you get into the enclosure. I think all the other three have much cooler views. Anyway, we're now basically on to the last three areas we've worked on. We have our spectacled bear enclosure up here, which, just like every other animal from Untamed Wilds, is just sleeping. But I guess that's accurate. I mean, that's like what most animals do when you see them at the zoo. Over here, of course, we have our llamas and alpacas in their exhibit. And, I mean, this is all the stuff you guys saw last episode, so it's not overly exciting, I'm sure. But over here, of course, we have our cave area. Well, people suggested a couple of names for it. I'm going to go back through the comments of last episode. And if you guys have any names for this area in today, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I might actually just go pick someone's suggestion, someone I'll leave, and name the area that. But in here, of course, we have our guinea pigs, which look adorable. Our armadillos. I was going to call these guys anteaters, but no, they're armadillos. Hiding up there. Our sloths. By the way, the sloths might be getting a slight expansion to their enclosure. It's a bit small, and I could probably make the tree a bit better. And finally, last but not least, we have our capybara enclosure, one of my absolute favorites. Not necessarily for the enclosure itself, but just for the animals, because they're adorable. But yeah, I really love this area too. It's kind of like the underwater viewing area we have for the hippos, which I guess is probably why I like it so much. But yeah, that is, as of now, the zoo. That's what we've built so far. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it. This is probably the best looking zoo I've ever made overall, and I think it's turning out absolutely fantastic. And we have quite a ways more to go before we're finished. I guess just for some sneak peeks at what's coming up in the next couple episodes, we got several Asian animals that are going over here, including orangutans, an Indian rhino, a Javan rhino, or a Sumatran rhino. That's what they're called, Sumatran rhinos. So an Indian rhino, Sumatran rhino, an orangutan, pandas. I think I had a couple others, didn't I? We have a yak. So yeah, that's going over here. But yeah, we got that happening. We've got a couple more African animals going over in this area. A small North American section that'll be heading up over here as well. Potentially an aquarium, a small one, heading out probably this direction in some regard, and something very, very, very many people have been requesting that is going to be happening over here, and that is, if we quickly look in this chest over here, a aviary birdhouse type thing, which is kind of going to cap off this area back here. And I don't know when I'm going to build that, because that's going to be a fairly massive project, but that's coming up pretty soon. So yeah, anyway, that's it for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little tour. Let me know what you guys are excited to see, what your favorite exhibit is, all that cool stuff. And yeah, until next time, guys, see ya.